What triggered you to look for that book initially?
This is a while ago, but I was saying yes to everything. You probably remember better than me, but I'm just trying to remember the time because usually I have a random idea and I Google it and I find a book or a resource or something that's going to help me with that. So there was something a few years ago that was making me say, oh, I can't be this nice. I have to be bolder.
What is the mental state when you are in that realization of I'm an overly nice guy?
A lot of things that have happened in my life, I felt that. And I feel one of the things that I want to get better is being roaring, which is if people are stepping on your toes or your family's toes to stand up for yourselves. And that's really hard for a good person to do, or even an introverted person or someone that avoids conflict. But it's so important to stand up for the people that you love. So that's one of the mentalities that I was trying to build. So what's holding me back from doing something like that? Am I scared of not being a good person? Am I scared of conflict? So those are things that I've been trying to work on and to change in my life for a while now. So the whole premise of good girl syndrome versus the good guy or nice guy or overly nice person, and why we do that. Why are we always trying to please others? I wonder why.
Good for who? Good for who is, I think, made this thing? Was it the parents? Or mainly it was the father figures or male?
We were saying, where did it come from? Why do we feel that? Was it from childhood that we started to feel like we always needed to be a good guy or a nice, good girl? Or was it later on in life where we started to feel that way? I think we do a lot of things. We try to be a good guy or a good boy, and we make decisions on how other people feel.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so ingrained in us from being a kid that we're acknowledged or recognized for being a good person when we're a child. So then as we get older, we keep trying to please people and be a good person versus being true to ourselves and who we are and what do we want. Always doing what other people want is a good guy or a good girl syndrome or a nice person syndrome. But when we really start to think about who we are then and what we want, then we start to move to more of a bolder, more fuller life.
I think a nice guy as an issue is kind of newer. Mostly good girl. As a syndrome is been a while. Who actually benefiting for person who's being a good girl? It's parents, teachers, authority figures, or the friends, or others. Where is me being as good girl?
So are you benefiting from being a good girl?
No, right? It's not myself. If I'm being a good girl, it's more like a yes man syndrome. It's the same as. And
Do you feel like you have to be a good girl?
yeah, because people are pleasing me being a good girl. You are a good person. And in other words, you are easier to step on. You can be doormat. When my child is quiet and introverted person, when other child wanted a blue, when my child has a blue, my child, quiet one, give it to the other kid who wanted a blue. Wailing, crying, that works. Child is being a good girl or a good boy, right? Because I give my blue away for other child is crying. Stay with me. That child is gonna be good girl or good boy who give out the blue even though I wanted blue. Blue was mine. I give up. I give it away. As a parent, I wouldn't step in as a good girl who's benefiting other child, not my child. I let my child being a doormat. I let my child to be a step-on. Wow, this is deep.
And I'm starting to try to figure out how I could move from being a nice guy to a good person, but not necessarily an over nice person where I'm giving in, I'm not being true to my own values or what I want, but instead speaking up and being a bolder me.
What was a trigger you to think about that, to fixing it, if that is the fixing thing?
I read a book that's called Not Nice,
Mm-hmm.
and that really opened my eyes. There was a really good quiz where you did a nice assessment, and my score was really, really low. I was like overly nice. This lengthy book gave strategies to kind of move yourself to be a bolder version of yourself, to have more confidence in everything that you do. Even I read this book a long time ago, I'm starting to really think about the lessons that I learned and how do they apply to my life and what can I do to change that? Because I see myself holding on to things just for the sense of being good, like even for relationships. I want to not hurt someone's feelings. I want to please people. But is that actually doing the best thing to be a people pleaser? Or are there better things I could be doing for myself and for others by being authentic and being bold?
What triggered you to look for that book initially?
This is a while ago, but I was saying yes to everything. You probably remember better than me, but I'm just trying to remember the time because usually I have a random idea and I Google it
Mm-hmm.
and I find a book or a resource or something that's going to help me with that. So there was something a few years ago that was making me say, oh, I can't be this nice. I have to be bolder.
What is the mental state when you are in that realization of I'm an overly nice guy?
A lot of things that have happened in my life, I felt that. And I feel one of the things that I want to get better is being roaring, which is if people are stepping on your toes or your family's toes to stand up for yourselves. And that's really hard for a good person to do, or even an introverted person or someone that avoids conflict. But it's so important to stand up for the people that you love. So that's one of the mentalities that I was trying to build. So what's holding me back from doing something like that? Am I scared of not being a good person? Am I scared of conflict? So those are things that I've been trying to work on and to change in my life for a while now.
No, I'm getting really out of that good girl syndrome. But there was a moment I need to kick this off, right? It was actually being a parent. The example I gave it to you it was real life. You being labeled as a quiet person, and our child at that time was quiet. He's always kind of content and wasn't always, I want this kind of kid.
Mm-hmm.
Other kids around him was wanting it too much and they were wailing for whatever they want. They are demanding things. What my child get is nothing. His voice never heard. I hated to see him being that. And I have to get out. No, now you give him a blue car to other kid who wanted a blue car. Now he's quiet. Now you are all good because they got through. He said thank you, kid who got the blue car, and my kid is quiet, so they are good. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. He was step on. He was doormat. That really, really triggered me. How can I get this out of it, right? How can I kick this? That was a huge moment of, I'm gonna get it out. Wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. It took me years. My braveness has to come out because when somebody's doing it again, and I need to say it, you hurting my feeling. You are really stepping on my child. I couldn't say it. Probably it's a different way of saying it, that person. And I probably made that person really feeling, oh, whoa, what are you doing? You're attacking me because it wasn't in my attitude up until now. Getting better and better. He's 18. Took me a while. Now I don't want to back down, but I am a nice person. I know that I'm a decent person.
You're a good person.
Thank you. I have a mushy heart. My heart is moist, but doesn't mean I can be yes girl again. Good girl is not my praise, right?
Yeah.
It's not complimented to me at all. Somebody is not kind to me. I don't want to have social life with that not nice person. Don't see that my value. I don't.
So you don't need to be a overly good or overly nice girl, but yet you are still a good person.
Yeah, there must be something. You are harder to get out of that nice guy syndrome.
Yeah, I think it just keeps creeping back. So I have to keep pushing myself forward and realizing when I am just saying yes or I'm just doing things because people want things a certain way, just being way too flexible. So now it's time to say, no, this is actually how it works, or this is what I want. So now being able to say no more instead of saying yes, being okay with saying no or being okay speaking my mind, that's a whole shift for me.
Oh, you are a nice guy. You are a yes man. Is that a compliment to you?
No,
Still?
no, it's definitely not a compliment. I'd rather people say you're bold, you're making good decisions, you're decisive, a good leader. All these things are important to you versus being someone that is just like an overly nice person or a good guy. There's other characteristics that are more important to me now, and I'd rather be recognized than just being a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.